you to the Project Dream experience. I'm so excited that I get to share this opportunity with you all. Project Dream is a resource center, a place where young people can come and get the support, the guidance, the mentoring, and coaching that they need to become the best version of themselves. So Project Dream was created as an opportunity to help young people find their passion, pursue their purpose, and make their dreams become a reality. All right, everyone, I want to welcome you guys to another episode of PDA Dreamers TV. This episode is super cool. Some good content, some value that you guys can learn and add. I have some super cool, interesting people here with me tonight. These will be some familiar faces, people that you guys will get to know and help you along the way in your journey. We'll get more into that, but I'm super excited to introduce you guys, not only to Project Dream, but to some critical people that's a part of this organization, what we're doing. So to kind of paint the picture for you all before we jump into it and introduce our family, I won't even call them guests, our family tonight. Project Dream started in 2019. So it was a couple of years where I was kind of just going through this journey by myself and really starting with something from an idea in your mind. And then you take what's in your mind and then you put it to paper. And then from paper, you put it into action. And we'll talk about that more into what we do and how that'll all translate. But once it got into action, it was like, okay, I have this idea and this organization that I have, but now it has to run. And for a while, it was a lot of me building the building blocks, the foundational pieces to it. And then there was a time where, I felt like we needed to grow and expand, and I needed some people to come along to kind of help better Project Dream, right? And it's crazy how life works. Some friends of mine from childhood ended up just jumping into some conversations and talking, and it's crazy how life kind of aligns and brings people together. And these folks was doing a lot of the same work that I was doing in different capacities and areas, but at the foundational point of it, it was still working with youth and young people to a degree. So ended up just having some cool conversations, and from that we actually came together and kind of built a team. So I'm happy to kind of share and introduce you all to that team and show you guys what we're really about to do with Project Dream. So to kick it off tonight, what I want to do is first, we'll start with the introduction. We'll start with the man. I'll tell you guys how I know him. This was a childhood friend of mine. Then I'll let him give his talk and his introduction and share what he wants to share with the world. But me and this guy, we go way back to middle school days. I remember moments where like boys and girls clubs. I remember us just playing sports together, running in the same circles, went to the same church for a while. So it was kind of just organic how me and this next gentleman came together. And I went on my pathway, he went on his pathway, and at the end of the day, it all kind of merged together. We came back. So I'll introduce you guys to him as Jordan Floyd. I appreciate you. Kudos. I appreciate you in tonight. Interesting conversation we'll have tonight, man. But I'll go ahead and share with the world and with the people kind of, who you are and what you do and all that great stuff.
Most def, man. Thank you for that wonderful introduction. As you said, we go way back. So it's always been a pleasure working with you and Asante as well here. So a little bit about me. So I guess I'll start with who I am at heart. I'm just a really passionate, really empathetic, I'm really caring guy, and I really have a heart to serve the community. So that's kind of the foundation of the core of who I am in my being, and that really drives me and really motivates me to really wake up every day and to pursue excellence for our community, specifically thinking about the Black and Brown community, but not just the Black and Brown community, just creating better lives and better education for all. So that's a little bit about my passion. As far as just my career, so I have two master's degrees. I have a master's degree of art and teaching. I have a master's degree in educational leadership. So I really take education seriously and have put in the work to make sure that I'm qualified and able to really speak on the impact that education can have. So with those
Absolutely.
two degrees, I taught for 4 years. I'm sixth and seventh grade math. But currently I coach teachers. So I'm a consultant where I coach
Mhm.
teachers from
Let,
grades K. Sorry.
Interesting. No, let's break that down. Not to cut you off, man, but I want to kind of really break this down for people to really understand the whole perspective of it all. So you said you work with teachers and you're a teacher's coach, and you also went to college for education as well. Did you know prior to going into college that you wanted to pursue a career in education to allow you to do what you do today, or was that kind of just something that you fell into essentially?
Yeah, so great question. So I actually didn't go to college for education. I played football at University of Connecticut. I was blessed to have a full athletic scholarship to play
Okay.
football there. And
You
so
was out there doing your thing then, huh?
trying to, man, trying to. But honestly, that was I went to my parents were fortunate enough to send me to a really great high school where there were a lot of resources. And when I got to UConn, it was my first time really seeing the other side of education or some of my peers who just really were not privy to the level of education that I had. And I saw how far that set them back from where I was accustomed to and where I know my peers were who I went to high school with. So that was like a really eye-opening experience for me to say, oh man, like there's a real gap between fortunately I went to a private education between private education and some public education. So that was really shocking to me and that really kind of got the engine moving as far as like, okay, and let me pause really quickly and say that on top of that, the people who suffered the most at the face of that inequity were my black and brown peers. So it was like multifaceted. It was like, yeah, people are struggling, but it's also people who look like me who are suffering at the face of this inequity. So that was really something that like motivated me and pushed me to say, what can I do to make this change? Which is where I then, took the graduate school approach to get those master's degrees and to really dive headfirst into education.
Gotcha, gotcha. So now you fast forward to being a teacher's coach. Is that the term for it?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Teacher's coach. So let's talk about that. That's interesting, man. Interesting, right? Because
Yeah.
obviously teachers teach students, obviously, but never thought about it. There needs to be someone to teach the teachers, right? So talk about that a little bit, man. That's interesting.
Yeah, man. So it really has stretched me and caused me to grow. Because as I said before, I was a sixth and seventh grade math teacher, but currently I'm coaching teachers from grades K-8 in all subjects: math, English, science, social studies, Spanish, technology. I'm doing all subjects. So that's really caused me to have to do my own homework and do my own research and dive into different strategies and different levels of content engagement for various subjects. But as far as like the passion behind it, I love it because when I was a student, there were some teachers who matter of fact, I'll say it like this. When I was a student, I wish I had a young black dude or young black woman in there talking to my teacher saying, hey, you know what, maybe the way you're speaking to students isn't receptive to them, or maybe we can try to incorporate some cultural competency into our lesson plans, and maybe let's try to just build relationships with our students as opposed to simply just being in the front of the classroom and just lecturing the entire time, because there's different learning strategies. So it really has provided me with the opportunity to be an advocate for our community and to speak up and to be in a position where they don't have to listen, but I have the credentials. I put in the work, so now my opinion and what I'm saying holds some weight. So it's really a fortunate position to be in. And I'm really honored and blessed to be able to advocate on behalf of our students. Also helping out teachers and want them to grow as well. But my heart's with the students and making sure that make sure that the kids are able to learn and to grow and to feel that feel school's a safe space and to feel that they can be all they can be in the school setting. So
Yeah, absolutely. I know something for me and kind of my background, it was always giving kids that sense of belonging, right? You want
yep.
kids to feel like they're a part of something. And I think if, for schools and just organizations and groups in general, It's about making people really feel like they're part of something that's bigger than themselves. I think that's how we get the maximum effort. That's how we help kids be their best. So
Exactly.
I know the work that you're doing, man, is super crazy. It's special. I know the kids is loving the work that you're doing, and the teachers as well, keeping them motivated. And I think the most exciting part about the work you do is you'll see that pay off in years down the road as kids continue to thrive and grow in their education. You'll see kind of a little bit of Mr. Floyd, rub off on them as they continue on their journey. So I think that's special. And
Thanks.
of course, I couldn't forget about Miss Asante Mitchell. Yeah. We gotta get us a little soundtrack so when we do introductions, we got the music in the back. Right?
I got you. I got you.
We gotta get there. We gotta get there. No, but super excited to have you on today, and the work that you're doing in the community at large is really impactful and special. So I'm excited to dive into that conversation a little bit later here. But for now, let's tell folks, I guess how we kind of connected, how it all came together, and then let's hear about what you do each and every day.
Okay, so I've known Damani since what, middle school? That we ran track and field together at Track and Rec, J Town. What's good?
Right.
So it started from then, and then I guess we follow each other with, through social media and meets every summer. Every summer we was at the track meets together. So
Absolutely.
it started from there.
Mhm.
And then I recently joined Jordan with the family and the team. Um, but it's exciting. I'm excited for the program. I'm excited for what I can contribute to the program. I'm excited to be with such a team that is willing to do the work. Okay, just to put that out there. But my passion really comes from creating a space for the youth to be open and to be free, and also to receive a lot of information that they may not be getting on a day-to-day basis. So if they can receive it from us together or individually, that's really like the goal. That's really what drives me, like making sure they get something that we never got when we were little, or they don't miss out on opportunities that we missed out on.
Right.
So
And
if
don't you guys even think back to some times when you were like in school and then now you learn things, you'd be like, man, I wish they taught me that in school, right? Like if I was learning about this instead of that, like I would have been better off. I could have leveled up a little bit earlier in life, so I definitely
exactly,
know where you're coming from with that. But nah, yeah, go ahead, keep continue.
yes. So a little bit of background, I have been mentoring for probably over a decade. I've been mentoring for a long time, but I recently started my life coaching business 2 years ago. So my business is eFace Life Coaching, and I have life coach youth and young adults. So the youngest I've done is 11, and then the oldest I can do is 35. Um, and I also wrote books. So a part in my contribution to creating a safe space is creating workbooks on self-improvement and grief and loss. That's what I specialize in, life coaching. So I had the opportunity to work at the Boys and Girls Club with my life coaching business. I had the opportunity to do workshops in universities, public schools, which was really exciting. That was refreshing to do because that's a whole different dynamic. And as well as my own practice, one-on-one sessions and my own workshops that I offer. So that's where I am, and now I'm part of PDA. What's up?
Yeah.
Contributing another way, in another form, in another cycle. So I'm
Absolutely.
really excited.
And that's what Project Dream is all about. It's about bringing together people that at the center of it care about youth, care about young people, and we want to see the best for our youth and their futures. And I think that's the amazing thing. And we're really passionate about it. I think that's the difference. Like when you have a true passion for it, the drive, the motivation, the work, the hours all come off different because this is what we're born to do in essence. So that's super special. One thing
Wait,
about
sorry,
both,
forgot.
go
I
for it.
forgot to add credentials. My bad. All right, I'm a
Talk to
certified
him.
life coach.
Let
Talk
them
to
know.
him.
Let them know.
certified life coach. I have my first degrees in marketing, but I'm receiving my degree in mental health, and I'm going to continue my education as a social worker. So,
Wonderful,
Okay.
wonderful.
let them know.
So you can see the team has put the work in. And I think that's the biggest thing, guys. Make sure you always put the work in. Okay. You got to stay down and stay solid for a while, because that's where you grow. I always say you want to stay rooted, right? Because that's where you get the most of your foundation from. That's where you learn. And we have an amazing team that's really put in those 10,000 hours to learn and study the craft of what we're doing. And now we're excited to share this, especially with this next generation of young people, as kids now are post-COVID, right? And we'll get into that whole conversation, how kids had to adapt and learn in a different capacity and manner that was new to everybody, especially with you being a teacher's coach, Jordan. I know that was super crazy. We'll talk about that here shortly.
We your Project Dream.